Hello, and welcome to Stop Now, a social experiment enterprise where we stop, listen, and share. Welcome back, everyone. New intro for a new season of the show, if you will. I am one of your hosts, Nate, and I am joined, as always, by I normally get on the show, guys, and call this man the man in the mask, the man behind the scenes, the voice of the voiceless. But I guess this week we can start calling him Stop Now's Jon Stewart or Stop Now's Trevor Noah, because he is the host of the Daily Show and he is the man that keeps everything running around here. JK, how are you?
I'm good, Nate. I wish I could boost myself like this, and it's been exciting. So launching the Daily Show and talking about it, and I'm a bit exhausted.
I mean, it's we are recording this on Labor Day weekend, so maybe you can take some extra time to relax this week. But before we bring in Amar, how has the Daily Show been so far? Yes, Amar is here. Hey, Amar, how are you?
Hi, Nate. How's it going?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Glad to have you here. We are happy that you're back with us this week, and we have a lot to get into this week, folks. But again, before we get to that, JK, you were kind of telling us about the Daily Show. How has that experience been for you?
Yeah, that we can talk all day and anytime, but we are joined by our special guest.
Oh, wow.
Surprised. I thought like he is not going to show up, but we did have him now. So let's go with him. We can put our experimental lab Daily Show things for the next week.
Yes, we have a special guest joining us. I'm excited because I'm surprised. I didn't know we were having a guest this week, but I'm glad that we're getting a chance to sit down and talk with this person who we haven't talked to this person in a few months, if I'm remembering right.
It's so long. I even can't recollect. Right, it might look like a year. And again, Karl Berry, who's well known to our audience as well, and he is joining us today.
Yes, Karl, are you there?
Righty. Sorry about that.
No problem, Karl. Good to see you. It's been a while.
It has been good to see you, not be viewed.
How are you, Karl? For those that might be new to the show, Karl Berry is someone who we've spoken to numerous times, about some of the work that he's been doing and about, just a lot of issues going on right now. But how are you, Karl? How have you been since the last time we talked?
Oh, it's just been marvelous. I blessed beyond all measure, fat and sassy. I've been on a age reversal program. So I'm not watching as much Netflix or Amazon, and I'm getting out, and I'm actually going to a restaurant today. Then I'm going to the museum, and then I'm going to go shopping.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm having fun, living life.
Good to hear. Good. And I just had a birthday a couple weeks ago, so maybe I need to get on that plan with you, Karl, and start reversing the age.
There you go, brother. Come on along.
But JK, I was trying to remember when the last time we spoke with Karl was, and I believe maybe it was late last year, if I'm remembering right. Like, it's been so long.
Yes,
it's been too long. I was glad to hear from you guys, and looking forward to the day.
Yes, Karl. Again, thank you so much. Right, it's been a pleasure, even in a short notice. Like you hop in right away. Right, it's like, okay, just my family calls me, I'm going there.
There you go.
So I'm so happy and happy to have you here. And I was looking through it, like exactly 10 months before. It was on mental health issues that we were talking about, and homelessness. You I just pulled up the video as well, like so that I get to know like exactly on what date we met with you. So how are things at your end?
Oh, they're just actually going amazingly well. I created a collaboration through my nonprofit Community Care Resource Council with a guy that has an organization called Cardboard Project. You know, a lot of times unhoused people are living in old refrigerator boxes. And he's got a program that is meant to reverse the digital illiteracy. Dallas is the 6th most illiterate digital city in the country. And so he'll get them a Wi-Fi device, a hotspot, and then a device, either a cell phone, a laptop, or a iPad. He will get them GED training. He gets them a job, and he gets them even a bank account. And he has a 10-step vetting process. So the people that are unqualified or risky don't make it through the process. He's got 4 or 5 people at the initial stage that evaluates the qualifications to give them a laptop. He makes sure they're taking their meds if there's mental health issues. He prepares them for a job interview, takes them shopping. I mean, just on and on and on and on and on. And Cardboard Project has turned into a expansive mode of the nonprofit, because there's no program like it in the country. And so we're now introducing it in 48 states.
Oh, wow.
So and as you recall, mental health to me is not catatonic states or schizophrenia. Those are more serious, but still yet, yes, mental health. But mental health is really just bad decisions. You know, racism is mental health. Domestic violence is mental health. There are people in jail all over for mental health violations, you know, and so the solution is spiritual in nature, and spiritual doesn't mean religious. Spiritual means good choices. And so what we do is we deal with helping people avoid bad decisions and learn how to make good choices through assistance from people like Cardboard Project does, where they walk alongside the person and help them to deal with their stuff. Some people call it life coaching, some people call it mindfulness, but we just believe in all of those channels to help the human condition.
One thing I've noticed, Karl, you know, just kind of coming out of the last 2 years, you know, and kind of getting back to a quote unquote normal flow in life and, you know, going to work and all this other stuff, I've noticed people seem to be tired, and that, you know, tiredness can take different forms and different choices, like you mentioned. And is there something folks can do? Because, you know, I've got a coworker that's stressed out before we even start work, just, you know, getting back into the world and dealing with their kids and her husband, and, you know, just things were different when we were all locked down. And now we have to get right back into where we were 2 years before the pandemic. Is there something folks can do? You know, you talked about mindfulness and you know, spirituality. Is there something folks can do to kind of get themselves in a place where they're making good decisions? You know?
Absolutely. And are you a basketball fan by any chance?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay, well, what's the first thing the professionals do when they hit the court?
You got to warm up. You got to stretch. You got to, you know, practice your shots.
Yeah, but you warm up, you stretch, and the first thing you do as far as playing basketball is you shoot layups.
Yes, yes.
You go back to the fundamentals. We lost fundamentals due to COVID. People were going from their office to the recliner and the television and to the kitchen and to bed. Okay? They didn't get any sunshine, social distancing, say, well, just don't go out the house at all.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, they were not getting any exercise. They were not drinking water, and they were not sleeping regularly. So the point I'm really trying to make is it's the basics and the fundamentals that will de-stress people. If you just get you some sunshine, drink your water like you should every day, exercise, eat properly, and sleep on a regular schedule, you will de-stress. That's part of the mental problems and calamity that COVID caused. I'm working as a coordinator for an organization, and we're dealing with COVID hesitancy.
Okay.
People don't want to get a shot. They don't want to wear a mask. And I'm not trying to tell them they should, but I am trying to get rid of and debunk the myths, because the COVID is not going to give you, it's not going to sterilize you. The shot's not going to sterilize you. There is no virus in the shot. It's not like most viruses. And a pregnant woman, for instance, can take the shot and the placenta will protect both her and her baby. So a lot of the things that people don't know, they need to know. And so what I'm telling people that are dealing with stress, just like you mentioned with COVID, become informed and look at who you're looking at. You got to be careful in today's world, because anybody with a telephone can go online. So you got to look at, is it a .org behind the name of the business or the TikTok that you're watching? Or is it Karl.stupid? and you're listening to Karl talk about something stupid. So all of those things, I think, answers is a response to your question.
Yeah, and when you're talking about it, Karl, it feels like, and I can use this example because it just recently happened. So I have a niece that is about 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
And so all summer she was staying up late and watching TV and, going to bed at midnight. And now that school has started again, she had to kind of relearn those fundamentals, go to bed at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and wake up at 6 o'clock and do your homework and all the stuff that she didn't do during the summer. And relating that to COVID, it feels like for 2 years, people were just not in the regular routine. And now it's like, we got to get back to taking care of ourselves and exercising and drinking water, like you said, and getting out of the house. And I feel like we're starting to get there, but it is an adjustment period for a lot of people.
You're absolutely right, Nate. You've got to be intentional about doing the things that make a difference. And then in my case, I was blessed enough to decide to start being healthy. So I've actually done some real intense dieting changes. I don't drink water out of plastic receptacles. I eat grain-fed meats, and I use organic vegetables and wash those off. 5 years ago, I weighed 260 pounds. And this week, I got to my lowest yet. I'm at 208.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
It just comes from doing the things intentionally that you need to do. Now, without pain, there is no growth. So that means I have to drive by Dairy Queen and wave.
Are you going to drink the water in a cup now?
Yes. Like, that's something I learned like the last few months, because again, going back to the pandemic, JK, there were days where I was, weeks where I would drink, almost every night, just because, not out of depression or anything, but just boredom, I'll just watch the basketball game and have a beer. And then it's like, oh, I can't do that every day or every night now, because I've got to go to work. I've got to take care of myself. I got to get in better shape. And it's like unlearning all of those bad habits from the past 2 years of lockdown. That was a struggle for me for a little while.
Well, on that note, right, again, Karl, interestingly, what you said was like, I myself wondered, like, when I go out, like some people still wear a mask. And I was wondering, like, is the COVID thing still exist or what? So I don't know where do we draw the line, right? Where does that stops? When does that stop? And how do we, like you, as you said, right? How do we create that awareness and educate people to cooperate?
They have to make their own mind up.
Mhm.
Does bronchitis, flu, polio, shingles, do they exist? Yeah, they do. The danger and the level of danger is much less. This last COVID strain, Omicron, is much less serious if you get it. But I don't know if you've ever heard the story about the guy throwing starfish back in the ocean. And he says, well, it might not make a difference to all these guys, but it makes a difference to this one.
Yep.
And so the point I'm making, JK, it makes a difference to the one that dies. You know, it might not make a difference to everyone. It might not be as dangerous, which it isn't, but it makes a difference to the one that dies. I'll give you an interesting statistic. Children 5 and under that catch disease run a greater chance of serious illness because their respiratory systems are not developed yet. And so because of a poorly developed respiratory system, children right now are the most and the highest percentage of deaths due to COVID. So you got a mom and a dad that don't believe in getting the vaccine. They don't care about their kid getting it. Then the kid gets it and dies. You know, I tell a story of a guy that was a police officer. All he did was intake. He just took the pictures and did the thumbprint. Well, he caught COVID. His wife caught COVID. Both of them died from COVID. And now their 9-year-old daughter doesn't have a mother or father. So yes, it's less dangerous, but see, COVID taught me how not to get as many colds, because the mask didn't just stop me from getting COVID. The mask stopped me from getting infected, getting flu. The mask kept me washing my hands. And so I think the mask is still here to stay. Now, do I live by that? No. You know, I feel guilty sometimes because I'm out doing a tabling event talking about COVID, and I got my mask with me right next to me on the floor. And so you got to make a decision, but you got to make sure you understand that you're making a risky decision. Now, you need to be careful, though, who you cough around because you may get attacked. But COVID is still here, but COVID is much more like a traditional disease now than it used to be. It's not the death sentence.
Yeah, we're finding a way to live with COVID, you know, much like we live with the flu or, you know, any of these other things that still exist. And it's funny that you mentioned kind of the mask thing, Karl, because I've noticed, like, I used to wear the mask every single day when I would go to work, and now I've got it with me and I wear it when I'm around like a particularly large group of people at the office, but most of the time I've just got it in my pocket and I'll bring it out if I need it. But it's not like I walked into the Walmart the other day and forgot to put on my mask, and I was looking around, I was like, oh, nobody's gonna stop me and tell me to put my mask on. Okay, I'll just keep walking in.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The disease is still there. A lot of people right now, they're saying catching COVID and don't even know they got COVID. You know, because sometimes you don't get all the symptoms. You know, you don't lose taste anymore. You know, you don't become lethargic. Now there are some that do. And so it's just a choice. It's just like anything else in life. It's just a choice, but you do need to be wise on how you manage yourself. And so if you're in a crowd and everybody's within 6 inches of you, I'd put my mask on. Now, if we're all 15, 20 feet apart, not necessarily. And so That's my take on it, JK.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, those are, as you said, right? It has become a personal choice, and it's not kind of being enforced. And also, we cannot keep doing that for a long time. But my question on that, right? So, is that the fear that causes us? Because what is the point in doing it randomly? That how do we even know that? That only at a particular time, if you try to wear the mask and not, and then do everything regularly as usual, and I'm lost on that, right? So is that like the fear is still on our mind? That because you said rightly that it's just like any other flu, right? You just have to be healthy to fight it out and live your life. So then why do we have this drama thing? Kind of wearing a mask is not going to in any way like prevent it. Maybe 2 years before I would have agreed, right? So that was like trying to slow down and not to make it as a pandemic or infect more people, right? Killing more people is kind of a bad thing if we are going to justify in that trend.
For me, it's a matter of how you live your life.
Mhm.
You guys might remember when it comes to living life, I believe in maybe. If
Mhm.
I am extremely conservative or extremely liberal, I'm taking a risk. But if I'm like Nate and I got my mask in my pocket,
Mhm.
then maybe I need to wear it and maybe I don't. And that's the thing we've got to know. I can tell you right now that in some parts of the United States, southeastern United States, there's a rise in polio because people don't want to take the polio vaccine anymore because they're conditioned not to take the vaccine. Now, that doesn't seem very smart to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that is the same thing with the mask. The mask doesn't keep you from getting sick. You can get sick and catch the disease through a mask. The mask can cause you other problems. However, the percentage of infection is severely decreased with a mask. And so that's the choice you've got to make. But just depends on which starfish you want to be.
Mm.
You want to be one that's on the beach, or do you want to be the one that makes it back to the water and stays alive? Because if you want to protect your health, and the most important thing is, JK, people don't seem to think about this because we're so worried about ourselves and my rights that we forget the rights of other people. I work a lot with Spanish community. Spanish households are notorious for having multi-level ages in the family. Grandma isn't there. Aunt Susie and Aunt Joyce and Aunt Gloria are there with their kids. And you can be a carrier of the disease. You can get it and not get any symptoms, but you give it to grandma, or you give it to little baby Joyce, who is under 5 years old, doesn't have the respiratory protection. And so we wear a mask not just for self-protection, but we wear a mask to protect others and to protect others from ourselves. And so that's why I suggest we wear a mask. Now, I've already told you, do I wear a mask at all times? No, but I'm maybe. I can tell you, I told you when I'm at the tabling events, I got a plastic mask you put over your face. It's sitting right there next to me. And if I hear somebody coughing that's walking up on my table, I'm going to put that mask on.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the events and some of the work that you've been doing, Karl. Last time we spoke, we talked a lot about the mental health aspect. You mentioned some of the partnerships earlier today that you've been doing. So how has the work been going, and what's new in terms of the mission that you've got going on out there, brother?
Well, number one, it's exploding. Once I added the homeless component and coupled with the substance use and the mental health component, it covers so much of the footprint of health and mental health. See, people don't understand that mental health is health. You're not healthy if you're not mentally sound. And so we were invited by the American Rescue Plan to apply for a grant. The grant is normally not given to anybody that's 5 years old or less. And I'm only 3 years old, but I applied anyway. After 4 months, I gave up hope. The 5th month, I got an invitation. We filled out the invitation. 30 days ago, I got some questions about our application that they needed me to present some more documentation. I had a board meeting yesterday, and I talked to the lady that's doing our strategic plan, and she tells me that they got enough money to fund all the applications.
Oh, wow.
I'm looking at a potential $600,000 win. In addition to that, I've got 12 grant applications made. Prior to COVID, they wanted you to have a program. You could deal with providing diapers for babies, but that's it. But because of COVID, collaboration became the desired state of a nonprofit. So now, if you're doing diapers, they also want you to do strollers. They also want you to do immersion. They want people 2 years or older to learn multiple languages. They want you to have these collaborations with these other people. And so on my grant proposal, I just submitted 31 close collaborations.
Okay.
I got 4,000 collaborations. 31 of them are close. So when you ask me how it's going well, because CCRC, Community Care Resource Council, our only mission is to introduce seekers to providers, people seeking help to people that provide help. Our motto is help is on the way. When you call me, you're getting ready to get some help. Now, you got to have skin in the game, because when they call me and they need their electric bill paid, I don't go call people that pay electric bills. I pull a list of people that will pay your electric bill, and I tell them, okay, you want that bill paid? Here's 36 names. Give them a call. Let me know if you have any help, if you have any luck. And so long as we keep it narrow like that, and I only make introductions, I don't try to do any type of a program, it has been going, frankly, swimmingly well. I am promoting all of my organizations, so we will take Stop Now and put you on 10 social media channels a day, so that at the end of the month, you will have exposure of 30 Instagrams, LinkedIn's, Twitter's, Facebook, and all. Then we do a 30-minute interview with JK and Nate. And then we will put 4 other podcasts together on an event. All of that service is free. Why? Because I'm trying to gain and attract the resource providers, and everybody likes marketing. Everybody knows that the metaverse is where it's at. They just don't know how to do it. And I'll tell them, hey, call me, I'll do it for you for free. And it is free. Now, if you want in depth, if you want like 9,000 in a month instead of 300, I can provide that for a fee. And so we make a little money like that, but our main bread and butter is life management. Life management referrals takes 11 categories, with 7 subtopics. So if it's mental health, ex-offenders, children, seniors, substance, financial, whatever your need, you can call us and we'll give you a list. And we charge for that. And we charge churches and municipalities and organizations like Amazon may want to make this available to all their employees.
Right.
And we do that because smaller organizations, I'll give you an example. Y'all know I'm a church guy, and I know you aren't. But here's the example. A lot of these churches, like in Dallas, T.D. Jakes is here.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a big old church. Well, there's some churches around his thing with 75 members. T.D. Jakes gives away food, clothes, backpacks, books, all kinds of stuff. But you know what? Them little churches don't want to send them over to T.D. Jakes. You know why? Because he's going to take them.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to become members of his church.
Right.
So now we provide this service to large organizations for a fee, but they have to understand I'm going to give it to small entities for free because I believe in maybe. I'm half socialist and half Democrat. So that's kind of how it's going. It is amazing, Nate. The demand is nation. I have now, since the last time we talked, I have increased incoming calls 6-fold. So we've got people calling all day, every day, and even through the middle of the night saying, I need help. My husband's drinking too much. I need help.
Mm-hmm.
My 15-year-old left home. I haven't seen him in a week. I need help. And remember, when you call me, help is on the way.
I think one of the things, JK, that Karl hit on that, I've noticed over the past couple of years is in every challenge, there can be an opportunity. And I think one of the things that people maybe learned during COVID is collaboration, and I think that, we're stronger together. We can get more done. We can help more people working together, JK, and that's how, I found out about Stop Now. We've been working together since then. And so I think there is something to the community and the collaboration in terms of we can get more work done and help more people if we work together.
Well, again, Karl, amazing work. Wow, I can't even imagine like the amount of effort and work you do. It's really great. And what I wanted to ask one final question is there a possibility like people get cheated or exploited in these kind of nonprofits as well? Because we are dealing with some of the investigation right now. I was involved in this as an experiment, we are trying to prove how the recruitment industry is scamming and how to stop the scammers, right? So busting the scammers. So it's been overwhelming that even in this pandemic, right, the last 2 years, there has been a lot of spam emails and spam calls saying that they will help you in this way, call this number, and they try to cheat you. So what do you have to say about those things, right? How do we build the trust if someone is coming forward and trying to help?
Well, I'm going back, JK, to maybe. I believe that maybe anybody I'm dealing with is a scammer. It could be the FDA, could be the federal government, could be the World Trade Organization. Maybe because you made the point that we have to get past our own selfish beliefs and concerns and start thinking universal and intentionally on behalf of the entire population. I know we've talked before that I've got some people in India and some people in Africa and some people in Netherlands that I'm working with. And you know what? They're all the same personality. They all are people that love people. They're all people that want to help people. And I got to get past your skin color, your religion, and your politics. Because in the end, politics and governments and churches and good doers aren't going to fix it. The people that are going to fix it are the people that are willing to take on the work to help their fellow man and take the risk.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but have you ever had a girl that you prayed, God, please let me have her? And 30 days later, you say, God, please take this girl away from me. And that's the same thing that happens in life. You're going to have some people to do that. But you know, I'm in addiction. You know what the greatest addiction on the planet is? Anybody? What do you think is the most addictive substance on the planet?
Mm.
Is it fentanyl? Is it cocaine? Is it heroin? What's the most addictive substance?
Paying attention to feelings.
Sugar.
Sugar. Oh, wow. I was thinking
80%,
caffeine, but yeah, sugar. Wow.
80% of what's on the shelf in the grocery store has some sort of sugar in it. They call it fructose and
Mhm.
pineapple extract, and they call it all kinds of different stuff, but it's sugar. Have you ever noticed when you eat a candy bar, you immediately want another one?
Mhm.
And guess who allowed sugar to get to the point where 80% of it was on the shelf? It was the Food and Drug Administration.
Mhm.
Not because it was healthy, but because of the financial lobby that put sugar where it needed to be. They want to restrict sugar. They don't want to restrict sugar, but they want to restrict caffeine. They wanted to restrict nicotine. So in regards to those spams and those scams, JK, I think it's just like the mask. You got to figure out where your maybe stands, and you got to do your due diligence, because right now we live in a world that keeps the rest of the world in a silo. If you want to be a Black Lives Matter person, you can find programming that will feed your Black Lives Matter perspective.
Mhm.
You want to be blue lives, you can find programs. You want to be all lives, you can find a program.
Mhm.
And in the end, you know, the people that are really running the world have nothing to do with the government. The people that run the world, I'm not going to call their names because they may come get me, but the people that run the world are worried about money.
Yes.
They're worried about population reduction. They said, we ain't got to worry about stopping global warming. We just take some of these people off the planet and only keep the smart ones and the best ones and let the rest of them die. You know, so, I mean, we live in a world where everybody has an agenda.
Mhm.
Karl has an agenda, and I can't change the fact that I do. So I think it's about me working on me.
Mhm.
Michael Jackson said it best. I'm
Hmm.
looking at the man in the mirror, asking
Yes.
him to change his ways. No message can be any clearer. If you want to make a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change.
Mm. and Karl, I guess my last thing is we wrap up, and hopefully we talk more frequently this year than we did, because this has been a great conversation. But for anybody out there that wants to know more about, you know, CCRC and the work that Karl Berry is doing and the collaborations, where can they go? How can they get in touch with you? How can they follow, you know, and help? How can, like, if somebody wants to help, how can they help the work that you're doing?
Well, first of all, you can go to our website, CCRC.org. You can go to our phone number, it's 844-661-2272. And I've got a link tree. Anybody ever heard of link tree?
Yes.
I can send you a link tree and it'll give you an option to look at everything we're doing. Everything. You can look at the life management, you can look at the programming, you can look at the videos, you can look at the events, you can look at everything. And on the website, it'll say, if you want to help, sign up here. It's free. Even your business can be promoted for free. All you got to do is say, I want to be a resource provider. I want everybody to know about Stop Now. We'll start promoting Stop Now 300 times a month. And so these are the things that we do. And like I said, I don't do it just because I'm a good guy, but if I have the help under one umbrella, then when people come and look for help and they find it, the word starts to go in, because you do all advertising not to make money. You do all advertising to accentuate word of mouth. Word of mouth is what makes an organization or an individual grow.
Well, again, we thank you for sharing some time with us, Karl, and we would definitely have to do it again. JK, any final thoughts? And Amer, thank you for joining us this week. I don't believe you've had a chance to speak with Karl before.
Okay. Hi, Karl.
Hello,
good
Amer.
afternoon. Nice to hear you from that. You are doing some great social works. Really appreciate. So I think we should be prepare ourselves to face for different viruses or flus which will be coming for future. So I have a question to you as you are working with those. So how can we prepare ourselves to face or fight future flus or viruses?
And in what? Well, I think that we need to talk to the people that we don't agree with. It's an old example of divide and conquer. What I have learned is that if we have disagreements, instead of me avoiding you, I need to spend more time with you than ever. If we don't tear down, Amara, if we don't tear down the silos, then we're making ourselves available. We're putting ourselves in position to be misused by the people that control the media. The media today is an asset or it can be a liability. It's an asset if you look at it and you question it. It's a liability if you look at it and you believe Karl not stupid. So you got to go to the right place with the right attitude, with no presumption. The problem is, Amar, I believe, and I'll shut up, I believe that we go seeking to confirm our beliefs rather than to question our beliefs. Back to Michael Jackson, we got to look internally and see where we might not be right. And being right ain't always cracked up to be anyway.
Yes, and then that's something we talked about, JK, last year, where, you know, you can be factually correct, but it's not always about being right, you know, versus it's about doing the right thing. And I think that's something you and Karl have always had a great conversation, and we've always had great discussions with Karl. And it's not because you and Karl believe exactly the same things, but it's because we're open to having that conversation.
I love and respect JK. And by rights, we're not really aligned on a lot of issues, but we are aligned on one thing. JK's a smart guy, a good dude.
Well, I don't know about that. Thank I don't know. Maybe we should, as you said, right? We should partner up. And I pulled up your website as well for our audience to reach out. And it's
scroll down, just scroll down just a little bit. Yeah, that shows us what we do. But there is common referrals. You see common referrals where it says counseling services? Hover your mouse over counseling services, and then it shows you what those services could be. Each one of those 11 common referrals has a menu on the back of it. So when you hover over it, you can see what you need. And if you look through those, you'll see community services, children's issues, health services, mental health, domestic violence. You can keep scrolling down. You'll see 11 of them. And all of that, public assistance, substance misuse, senior services. We go out and we caulk windows and trim trees for code compliances in the neighborhood. We take senior citizens to the doctor. We take them to the pharmacy. If they don't have a car, we'll even take them to the grocery store. These are the kind of things that we as community need to do. And I need to do it whether you're Buddhist, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, agnostic, atheist. I ain't got to, you ain't got to think like me for me to love you. You know, back in the day when I was chasing women, Nate, I didn't care what the woman said. I'm gonna rest my case. I'm not gonna go any further with that path.
Yes. I think that's a lesson though. Like this world would be a better place if we cared more about the work and less about, oh, I don't agree 100% with that person, or you know, I have a different religion, or you know, I don't like that person's sexual orientation. Like it's the little things that are dividing people, I think.
Yes.
Absolutely. With that,
yes. I was gonna say, JK, any final thoughts?
No, wonderful call. Again, we will touch base with you again. Probably we can do it regularly, once a month at least, because you inspire, and also as you put it out there, right? So you inspire and you create an impact, and also you inform the people. So that way, like we can definitely do the good work together. Thank you all.
Good to see you guys.
Yes, thank you, Karl.
Take care.
Be sure to go check out all the work Karl's doing with CCRC. And yes, as JK mentioned, we will definitely try to speak to Karl on a more regular basis because the conversation is worth having.
Good to see you. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.